November 2025. The night sky above Incheon seemed to shimmer brighter than usual as tens of thousands of fans filled the Munhak main stadium, their ocean of purple light sticks pulsing in unison to the rhythm of Jin BTS's encore performance. The sound of his voice, warm, resonant, almost celestial, carried through the air like an emotional confession. And among the crowd that evening was a familiar face, Coldplay's Chris Martin. What began as a quiet rumor quickly became one of the most talked about moments in global entertainment. Multiple eyewitnesses confirmed that Martin attended Jin's Run Seokjin EP tour finale while visiting South Korea for a private collaboration meeting. When the British musician later posted a short clip of Jin performing Don't Say You Love Me on his Instagram story with the caption, "This voice speaks to the soul," fans erupted. Within minutes, Chris Martin and Jin BTS were trending worldwide. Chris Martin and Jin's creative friendship has been the subject of speculation ever since BTS and Coldplay released My Universe in 2021, a song that broke barriers, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and symbolizing unity between two generations of global artists. But Martin's reaction to Jin's Echo album seems to have taken that mutual respect to new depths. In an exclusive interview with Rolling Stone UK, Martin spoke candidly about the moment he first heard the album. "When I listened to Echo, I could feel how personal it was. It wasn't just another pop record, it was a man reflecting on time, love, and what it means to keep moving forward. You can tell when someone writes from truth. Jin does that." Martin described the live concert as transformative, adding that Jin's stage presence reminded him of artists like David Bowie and George Michael, performers who understood the power of vulnerability. "He doesn't just perform, he lets you in. That's rare. That's why I said he's the soul of modern pop. He makes people feel understood." Jin's second solo album, Echo, released in May 2025, has become a monumental success, topping streaming charts and earning over 870 million Spotify streams, making it the most streamed male K-pop album of the year. Its genre-bending mix of pop rock, synth textures, and emotional lyricism earned it an 81/100 on Metacritic, praised for its introspective tone and cinematic production. Tracks like Blue Hour, Letters from You, and Don't Say You Love Me showcase a side of Jin that fans and critics have long admired: soulful, reflective, and quietly powerful. The album's lyrical themes of solitude, healing, and memory reflect his journey post-military service, and the world has taken notice. The New York Times described Echo as a breathtaking exploration of self in the age of noise, while Billboard called Jin the poet of pop's quieter revolutions. Chris Martin echoed those sentiments when asked which track resonated most with him. "The way he sang Letters from You, I could feel something ancient in it. That song could belong in any language, any culture. That's what makes him special." Sources close to HYBE confirmed that after the encore concert, Jin and Chris Martin reunited backstage for a brief but heartfelt exchange. An insider described the meeting as emotional and unplanned, revealing that Martin congratulated Jin on his global success, telling him, "You've become everything we talked about in London years ago." Fans speculated that the two may be working together again, especially after Martin was seen leaving HYBE's Seoul headquarters the following day. While neither artist has confirmed a new collaboration, the possibility has sent both ARMY and Coldplayers into a frenzy. Social media exploded with posts combining clips of My Universe and Don't Say You Love Me, with fans calling the hypothetical collaboration Echoverse. Martin's praise wasn't the only endorsement Jin received. Following his comments, several prominent Western musicians publicly acknowledged Jin's artistry. John Legend retweeted Martin's post, adding, "I've been listening to Echo, what a masterpiece." Meanwhile, Lizzo commented on Instagram, "When Chris Martin calls you the soul of pop, that means something. Jin, you deserve this." Even Alicia Keys joined the conversation, calling Jin's live tone butter and heartbreak in the same breath. Within 24 hours, hashtags like #Jin Echo, #Chris Martin Jin, and #Soul of Modern Pop dominated X, formerly Twitter, trending simultaneously in over 40 countries. In a Weverse post following the concert, Jin shared a heartfelt message to fans. "I didn't expect to see Chris in the audience, but I'm deeply grateful. He's one of the first people who told me to believe in my own sound. I think I finally understand what he meant." That humility is part of what has made Jin's artistic journey so compelling. From his early BTS ballads like Epiphany and Moon to the introspection of Echo, Jin has shown continuous evolution not through reinvention, but through refinement. Bang Si-hyuk, HYBE's chairman, commented shortly after Jin's encore tour. Jin's growth is the definition of artistry. He doesn't chase fame, he chases truth. That's why people like Chris Martin see themselves in him. Music critics have noted that Jin's success with Echo has marked a turning point for solo K-pop artists navigating global markets. His ability to blend Korean lyricism with Western pop sensibilities without compromising authenticity has earned praise from international media outlets. Forbes, US wrote, "Jin BTS is leading a cultural renaissance. Echo is proof that emotional sincerity sells in the era of artificial perfection." The Guardian UK called his performance a soft rebellion, proof that strength doesn't have to be loud. In one particularly emotional concert moment, Jin sang "Still Here," a fan-favorite track dedicated to BTS and ARMY. As he hit the final note, the camera cut to Chris Martin, visibly moved, clapping with tears in his eyes. That image, shared millions of times online, became symbolic of something larger than music, a generational connection built on mutual respect and emotional honesty. Industry insiders have hinted that Jin and Chris Martin may collaborate again for a special charity performance under the Global Citizen Foundation in 2026. While details remain unconfirmed, the idea of the two sharing a stage again has already captivated fans worldwide. Chris Martin concluded his Rolling Stone interview with a line that summed up what countless fans have felt since Jin's solo comeback. "There are great singers, and then there are great souls. Jin is both. He makes people believe in something bigger than sound." As Echo continues to dominate charts and Jin's artistry gains deeper recognition, one thing has become clear: he's no longer just one of the biggest stars in K-pop. He's a storyteller, a bridge between worlds, and, as Chris Martin said best, the soul of modern pop. After the night, Chris Martin attended Jin BTS's encore concert in Incheon. The story of their unexpected reunion began spreading across the global entertainment industry. But what happened after the stage lights dimmed revealed even more about the deep, mutual respect between two of the world's most influential artists. Backstage, the atmosphere was a mix of exhaustion and triumph. Jin had just finished performing the last song of his Run Seokjin EP tour, his voice slightly trembling as he thanked fans for 2 hours of unbroken emotion. The moment he stepped off stage, Chris Martin was already waiting near the entrance of the dressing room, smiling like an old friend. Cameras were not allowed, but several staff members described the encounter as genuine and deeply moving. Martin reportedly gave Jin a small notebook, the same kind Coldplay uses to jot down early lyrics. Inside, on the first page, were the words, "The soul of pop is honesty and you have it." When word of this private exchange reached fans, social media exploded. Millions reposted photos of the two musicians from their My Universe collaboration years earlier, comparing the friendship then and now, from global superstars sharing a stage to mentors, sharing wisdom in quiet hallways. For Jin, who had carried the weight of his first world tour after BTS's hiatus, the moment represented validation from an artist he admired since debut. For Chris Martin, it was witnessing the full evolution of a man he once called the heart of BTS. Days later, a journalist from BBC Radio 1 caught up with Chris Martin in London, asking about his impression of Jin's concert. Martin didn't hesitate. "When you watch someone who truly loves his audience, you feel it in your bones. Jin doesn't perform for fame. He performs because he feels everything. I stood there and thought this is what music should be again." His words, broadcast across the UK, reignited the conversation about emotional authenticity in modern pop, a quality critics said Jin had mastered with his album Echo. Music analysts began dissecting why Echo resonated beyond the K-pop sphere. The instrumentation guitars recorded with analog warmth, layered harmonies reminiscent of classic British pop, showed influence from Coldplay's style, yet the lyricism was uniquely Jin's, personal, nostalgic, human. Some even argued that Jin had quietly built a bridge between Eastern sincerity and Western structure, making his work universally understandable. American critic Rob Sheffield wrote in Rolling Stone, "If Chris Martin is pop's philosopher, Jin is its poet. Together they're building a new emotional grammar for global music." Meanwhile, fans started speculating about a potential collaboration. A blurry photo surfaced online, showing Chris Martin leaving HYBE's building in Seoul, wearing a gray hoodie and carrying what looked like a demo hard drive. Neither HYBE nor Coldplay's management confirmed anything, but ARMYs pieced together patterns Jin's handwritten lyric teaser posted on Weverse that read, "Light finds light again," Coldplay's cryptic tweet about a story yet unfinished, all signs pointing to something bigger. The tag number Jin x Coldplay 2. Zero trended for 3 consecutive days. Inside HYBE, executives reportedly discussed how Jin's Echo era had changed the company's perception of solo artistry. A marketing source told Billboard Korea, after Chris Martin's public praise, Jin's brand value skyrocketed. He's no longer just a member of BTS, he's the benchmark for what a solo artist from a group can achieve globally. Sales figures reflected that truth. Merchandise tied to Echo sold out in minutes. The limited edition vinyls were being resold at 10 times their price. Gucci even released a statement congratulating Jin for redefining the aesthetics of live performance, calling his stage outfits a balance of strength and serenity. What struck fans most wasn't Jin's fame, but his reaction to it. On a live stream a week later, he thanked everyone in his soft, modest tone. "Chris is someone I've admired since I was young. When someone like him says something kind about me, I don't take it as pressure, I take it as encouragement to stay real." He smiled faintly before adding, "I think the world needs more kindness between artists." That sentence alone was replayed over 5 million times across social media, translated into dozens of languages, and even quoted in Time magazine's Leaders Who Inspire in 2025. Behind the scenes, the two artists continued exchanging messages. Chris Martin sent Jin a handwritten letter later shared by Coldplay Update's fan accounts. "The way you sing Don't Say You Love Me reminds me of why I started making music. Keep shining, brother. The world needs your sound." Jin responded on Weverse with a single purple heart emoji and a phrase in English, "Thank you, Hyung." As 2025 drew to a close, Forbes Music published a feature titled "The Year Emotion Returned to Pop," naming Jin and Chris Martin as two central figures, redefining sincerity in mainstream music. The article summarized the moment succinctly. Chris Martin called Jin the soul of modern pop. He may be right. In a time of algorithms and trends, Jin reminds us that music's greatest power is still human. The friendship between the two men, one from Seoul, one from London, became a symbol of something deeper than collaboration. It was about continuity, the passing of creative spirit from one generation to another. Jin once said during an earlier interview that he never wanted to be the loudest star, only the most genuine. Chris Martin's praise proved that he had succeeded. As 2026 approaches, rumors continue that Coldplay's next world tour might feature a surprise guest, Jin himself, for a joint performance of My Universe and a brand new track rumored to be titled The Light Between Us. Whether it happens or not, the meaning is already there. When the lights went down in Incheon that night, Jin bowed to the audience with his usual calm smile. Somewhere in the stands, Chris Martin stood clapping quietly, his eyes glistening with admiration. For a brief moment, the stage, the world, and every song between them seemed to merge into one truth: that music, when sung with honesty, can make even the universe stop and listen.